Well, well, look who's home. And how is my favorite deviant doing? Oh, hello there. And to what do I owe the immeasurable pleasure of having such a delightful addition to my lap? Mm. Nothing special. Now, why don't I believe that for a second? Well, you are currently disarmingly chipper, and I can feel the devious energy charging through your veins. It's coming off you in waves. Oh, yes, it is. I've had years now to dial in on the types of feelings that surge off of you. I'm becoming something of an expert. Well, I'm an artisan of many fields. What can I say? What are you scheming, my love? Oh, it is scheming. And that doesn't mean it's nefarious. I, for one, am a big fan of your schemes. But you're scheming nonetheless. So, what is it? I'm well aware of Halloween approaching, yes. Between you and our elementally inclined friends, I've gotten quite the crash course in it over these last few years. Well, I've always been a sucker for the spookier side of the holidays. Speaks to me a bit more than the others. Not that I don't love a good Friendsgiving nowadays, but the aesthetic of Halloween is a bit more to my taste. Though in Thanksgiving's defense, I could make a fetching look out of a well-placed cornucopia. What do you mean? I love scary things. Well, just because it doesn't scare me doesn't mean I don't like it. It is hardly my fault that I don't scare easily. You were so annoyed that time you tried to have me play that horror video game. Well, you did a great job. It was scary. I just wasn't scared. There's a difference. You pouted then, too. If you want to know what I find scary, try meeting Damien, Huxley, and Lasco together for the first time. Oh, meaningful social interaction is the real terror that no one talks about. Give me a chainsaw-wielding murderer over that any day. At least with him, I wouldn't have to be overthinking how well I could do at bowling without looking like a complete asshole. More than I already am, anyway. Well, I could have easily gotten a perfect score that first game. It just seemed untoward. Bowling is basically just math in motion. And we already know just how studious I am. We're getting off track, Deviant. Your evidently Halloween-related scheme. What do you have in mind? Couple's costume. What does that mean? I know what the words mean, thank you. As established, studious. I was hoping for a little more context. We're already a couple, and for Halloween we wear costumes, so I'm gonna need a little more information than that. Like we wear the same costume? Coordinating. That means, Well, I suppose that would depend on the general theme of these coordinated costumes. Referential, generic, funny, steamy. Well, you love video games. We could always go that route. I would make an incredible Princess Peach. I'm Vision in pink. And there's so many pairings to go with her. Bowser, Daisy. You could be my Toad or Toadette. Oh, come on, Deviant. Servitude can be fun. I think we've both proven that by now. Especially when the roles are kept flexible. A princess must also serve her subjects. Oh, I just look good in a crown. What can I say? Especially when it's a crown and nothing else. There also are the classics, of course. Vampires and werewolves. I've been known to have fangs when the situation calls for it. And they can be a lot of fun. Personally, I think my eyes are a bit prettier as they are than the silver that real vampires get stuck with, but there's always got to be a little room for creative license regardless. And it would be a sin to cover up your natural eye color. They're a thing of wonder. I could happily stare into them for hours. Mm, that's the only downside to kissing you, you know? That I can't see those beauties while we do. But it's more than worth it to taste your lips and to see that heavenly haze in your eyes afterward when you do open them. mm. 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 Like that. But it seems we're getting off track again. You and I have a habit of doing that. I guess we just often have something else on the brain or on the head if we get properly distracted. Oh, but back to costumes. One of my favorite human developments is the booming industry of decidedly unsexy professions made into so-called sexy costumes. Maybe I could be the sexy rat to your sexy exterminator. Oh, I'd be a stunning rat, and you know it. Though I could do without the tail. I've had one of those when the situation serves as well, but mine was always far more fetching than a rat's. At least, I'd like to think so. I'm sure in the eyes of a rat, I'd be deeply disappointing. And what greater crime is there than to disappoint a rat? Oh, maybe Huxley is wearing off on me after all. Do you think he's going to try to convince Damien to do a couple's costume? Oh, I can practically hear his eyes rolling from here. I suppose we could go to one of those Halloween stores and peruse their wares. We'd certainly be spoiled for choice. Some of those places are positively megalithic. To think I might lose you forever amidst a sea of cheap lame, odd-smelling rubber, and decidedly thin elastic straps. Not so different from some of the places I used to end up when I needed a little energy pick-me-up back in the day. Mostly kidding. Mostly. Being an incubus can take you to some interesting places. And to some even more interesting people. But it takes all kinds, as the saying goes. We could always make the costumes ourselves. That can be fun. Well, sure, I could just magic them up, but that's hardly in the spirit of the season. Oh, this is a time for crafty solutions and cobbled together half measures, hot glue and hope. Magic is an elegant solution, but Halloween is an inelegant time, and that's its charm. Perfection bores. Even if you start with a purchased costume, you should do something to it to give it that personal touch, which works out well because usually something in the bag is already broken when you get it anyway. improvisation rules the day. And you do know how I enjoy a show of performance. I don't have any plans for the evening, besides spending it with you. Let's go. If nothing else, it'll give us some inspiration. And I'm sure more than a few laughs at the copyright evading name for half of those costumes. Adult pink fruit monarch costume. Here I come.